Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Ironworker Gaming channel. I am Ironworker814, and thank you for joining me for another Destiny 2 PvP viewer-requested weapon review. In this weapon review, we're going to be looking at the iconic Destiny hand cannon Ace of Spades. We're going to take a look at pros, cons, stats, damage numbers, and how to obtain the weapon. This weapon review was requested by channel subscriber Dark Elf Taros. If at any point you feel this video or this channel is worthy of your support, liking and subscribing are two free and easy ways to show some support. But Ace of Spades, if you weren't around to experience it for yourself, shortly after its reintroduction into Destiny 2, it quickly became the gun to be using in the Crucible on PC. It was really hard to put up a valid argument against using Ace of Spades. It just does so many things well, and paired with the fact we have a wider field of view and a more manageable recoil on PC, in most cases, Ace was the best option. And to be quite honest with you, if you could get a good feel for this gun on consoles in that period of time, it was capable of amazing things there also. But in Season of Opulence, the Nerf hammer came for Ace of Spades, and with some extremely strong legendary 150 RPM hand cannons becoming more prevalent in the Crucible, Ace of Spades' usage rate began to slip a little bit. And that's not to say that Ace of Spades is totally being disregarded in the current sandbox, because it's certainly not. We're just seeing it far less often than we did in days past. So we're going to take a look at Ace of Spades and see how it stacks up in the current sandbox of the Crucible. And we'll do that right after a brief explanation of how to obtain this weapon for those who have not done so already. Ace of Spades is a returning Destiny 1 weapon reintroduced into the game with the Forsaken DLC. You will need to have access to this content and complete the main campaign before visiting the gunsmith to pick up Cade's Will, which is the exotic quest you will need to get the Ace of Spades. All of the upcoming quest steps must be completed with a hand cannon. First thing you're going to need to do is head into Gambit and defeat enemy combatants or invading enemy guardians. You'll get 1% progress for any enemy killed and 20% progress for defeating an enemy guardian that is invading your side. After that, go play some strikes and get 250 hand cannon kills. Next, you'll need to head into the Crucible and get 25 precision hand cannon final blows. Once that's completed, you're going to have to find 4 of Cade's stashes. These can be found on Nessus, Io, the Tangled Shore, and the EDZ. In the interest of time and the fact that this is a Crucible weapon review, I am not going to hold your hand and lead you to each one of these chests, but there are a lot of great guides out there that will take you straight to them. Once you've recovered these 4 stashes, the last part of the quest is going to be to complete the Ace in the Hole mission on Titan. You're going to be locating 10 more stashes in this mission, all containing audio logs. And it is a great mission to wrap up this quest. If you are at all interested in the story of Cade 6 or the lore of Destiny in general, this one is not to be missed. It does not disappoint. Once this mission is completed, head back to Banshee and he will hand you the Ace of Spades. As for the corresponding catalyst, this is an RNG drop from any activity in the game. Once you have obtained it, you will need 500 kills to unlock it. So while this quest is a little bit on the grindy side, there's nothing too difficult here. So let's head into the stats and damage numbers. Ace of Spades is an exotic kinetic hand cannon belonging to the adaptive frame archetype, shooting at 140 rounds per minute with 13 rounds in the magazine. As far as the stats go, you'll notice that the range value is very high, while stability, reload, and handling are pretty average compared to other 140 RPM hand cannons. Checking in with Light.gg, we see a respectable aim assist value of 70 and a recoil direction of 100, which I have a slight problem with, but we're going to get into that in a few. The intrinsic trait is Memento Mori. Reloading after a kill loads the magazine with a few extra damage bullets, 6 to be exact. Also grants radar when aiming down sights. The exotic perk is Firefly. Precision kills with this weapon increase reload speed and cause the target to explode, dealing solar damage to nearby enemy targets. And the catalyst, once unlocked, will cause Firefly to do more damage when Memento Mori is activated. For the damage numbers, Ace of Spades is going to do 70 on a precision hit and 47 points of damage to the body, giving it an optimal time to kill of 0.87 seconds requiring 3 crits, and a body shot time to kill of 1.73 seconds requiring 5 shots landed. With Memento Mori active, we're going to do 90 points of damage on a crit and 60 points of damage to the body. So the optimal time to kill will remain at 0.87 seconds, but only require 1 crit and 2 body shots to achieve it. And our body shot time to kill is going to drop to 1.3 seconds, requiring us to land 4 shots. The Firefly damage without the catalyst is going to do 56 points of damage to any target in its area of effect, But with Momentum Mori activated and the Catalyst unlocked, Firefly is going to do 88 points of damage to any target in its area of effect, a 32 point damage increase. And with no more damage numbers to cover, let's head into the pros and see what Ace of Spades excels at in the Crucible. Alright, a pro that I have not mentioned in previous videos but I want to start with right off the bat here is that exotics, for the time being, are sunset proof. Bungie has not said anything about power capping exotic weapons, so if you're looking for a different weapon to main, this is something you need to consider. But aside from that, Ace of Spades just has a lot going for it. Let's first talk about those TTK values. A lot of people favor the 150 RPM hand cannons over the 140s simply because of the discrepancy in the TTK values. But Ace of Spades can be the exception here because the Memento Mori perk adds forgiveness and extends the effective range of the weapon through damage. While the optimal time to kill value is a shade worse than the 150s, you only need 1 crit and 2 bodies as opposed to 3 headshots to hit that optimal time to kill, making this much easier to pull off for lower skill players. Plus, Memento Mori does drop that body shot time to kill down to 1.3 seconds, which is better than the 150s, which are sitting at 1.6. With Shadowkeep's sandbox tuning came a range hit to hand cannons, so even the longer range hand cannons like Ace of Spades or Crimson will see damage fall off at 28 meters. But with the extra damage, you can reach out as far as 32 meters and still hit your optimal time to kill value with Ace of Spades. And once you secure that first base kill and you get your 6 Memento Mori rounds, you can hold these for as long as you would like, and you get that same 30% damage buff as you would from Kill Clip with no expiration timer. This allows you to be a little more careful when choosing your engagements, allowing you to sit back and think for a second instead of having to rush in before that Rampage timer or Kill Clip timer runs out on you. And with your Memento Mori rounds, if you land 5 crits on a Guardian in their super, it will put them down in 1.73 seconds. Plus, you're going to have your radar up full time when you have these rounds in your magazine, which is extremely useful for watching your flanks when you're locked into an engagement for an extended length of time. And the Firefly perk, while not as effective in your 3v3 game modes, can be quite useful in 6v6 game modes where Guardians tend to group up a little bit more. Any area of effect damage that makes it a little easier to clean up kills for you or your teammates is always appreciated. And with the high range stat, like we've talked about in previous weapon reviews, this does physically help the range of the gun out slightly, but higher range means more accuracy and bullet magnetism. So what this is really adding is reliability to Ace of Spades. Unless you're straight up spamming the trigger, your bullets are going to fly pretty true, and this gun really seems to like to grab targets. Even when firing from the air, the accuracy feels pretty consistent with Ace. So all in all, Ace has a great deal going for it, but as with all guns, it does fall short in certain areas, and we're going to have a look at those now. First off, even with the Memento Mori rounds activated, there are a lot of weapons out there that will flat out outgun you in Ace's preferred ranges. 150 RPM hand cannons, 600 RPM auto rifles, and with Season of Arrivals, high impact pulse rifles can all be problematic for Ace of Spades users. Next, Ace of Spades is just not a snappy feeling hand cannon. The mediocre handling and stability stats can make this weapon feel sluggish. In being an exotic, which has fixed rolls, we are solely relying on our armor mods to mitigate this problem. And also those Memento Mori rounds that never expire will magically vanish if you swap weapons. This was one of the changes made to Ace of Spades back in Season of Opulence to try to rein it in just a touch, and it absolutely forces players to be more cognizant of their surroundings and pick their engagements wisely to make the most out of their bonus damage rounds. And lastly, that recoil being listed at 100 feels like it might be a bit high, because it does not seem to line up with the in-game performance of this weapon. Check out what I'm talking about here. Here's Ace of Spades' recoil pattern with a stat of 100, which means it should be very vertical. As far as I'm concerned, that could be a little bit better. Now here's the last word, which actually has a touch less stability, but also has a 100 recoil value. When I see a 100 in the recoil stat, this is what my brain wants to see. Not this. And to be fair, Ace is in no way built for spam firing, but I definitely thought this discrepancy should be pointed out. So here in Season of Arrivals, is Ace of Spades still a good option for the Crucible? Overall, I would say yes, this gun absolutely can still perform, but whether it's the gun for you or not really depends on your playstyle and what you're looking to get out of a hand cannon. If you're like me and tend to play a little bit slower and have a more calculated and deliberate approach to the Crucible, you're probably going to get a lot out of this gun. But for someone who tends to play aggressive and is constantly on the move, this might not be the best option for you. Between the sluggish feel and the memento mori rounds vanishing on weapon swap, running and gunning can be a hard feat to pull off with this gun. All in all though, Ace is a totally serviceable hand cannon with a ton of upside for those willing to adapt to its strengths. So if you've made it to this point in the video and you found it useful in some way, shape, or form, consider giving it a like and consider subscribing to the Ironworker Gaming channel to see more Destiny 2 reviews, guides, and discussions, all made by your favorite Union Ironworker. If you want to catch me live, you can look for Ironworker814 on Twitch, and if you'd like to get a hold of me, comment down below and I will be sure to respond. And with all that being said, I would like to thank you for spending a piece of your day checking out this weapon review. You guys are awesome, and I will catch you on the next one.